Hi, my name is Saurabh. I am the co-founder and CTO of Kusho. Kusho is an AI agent for API testing. Using Kusho, you can generate exhaustive test suites for your APIs with minimal manual effort. Let's take a look at how you can use Kusho. So there are two ways to generate a test suite on Kusho. Uh, to generate a test suite, go to the test suites tab here on the sidebar. Click on create new test suite, and as you can see, you can create a test suite either by entering the API details. Basically, you can enter details about the API like its URL, query params, path params, request body, all those things to generate the test suite. The second option is you can generate a test suite by uploading a Postman collection. So on Postman, you can export a collection as a JSON, and using that, you can generate a test suite. So let's take a look at how to generate a test suite by entering the API details. As you can see, you need to enter some basic details about your API, after which you can click on generate, and Kusho will start generating test cases for your API. For example, for this particular example, we are going to use an API called Alpha Vantage, which is a financial API for fetching stock prices. Uh, and let me just enter the details here. So this is the URL. It's a post method, and these are the query params which you have to enter here. And there are no other details, no other sections for this particular API. There's no header, no request body. So we'll just go ahead and click on generate. Uh, Now, what will happen is you'll see a page where all the test cases will be displayed as and when they get generated. So here, essentially, we'll generate test cases and stream them, and you'll be able to see them here. As you can see, there are two test cases generated. So one by one, as the test cases are generated, they'll be streamed to the ear, and you can see them here. Let me just talk a little bit more about this section as well. These are just filters for seeing a particular type of test case. So, as you can see, we generate test cases for a variety of different uh, use cases. Like, for example, positive, negative. We generate test cases for authentication, for checking data types of the fields, for checking with null, empty, zero values, all these different kind of test cases. And you can use these filters to check like a specific type of test case. For example, I've clicked on null, zero, empty value, and here you can see these are the test cases generated for this particular type. uh, as of now, the focus is on functional testing. So we are generating just functional test cases, but very soon we are planning to add security, performance, integration, and other different types of test cases as well. Um, yeah, the generation will take a little time, approximately like for 40-50 test cases. It will take around a minute or so. Um, and yeah, let's just wait for a bit until this is done. The test case generation is done, and you can see all the test cases here. Let me just unselect the filter. You can click on this button to check what's the payload that was generated. For example, this is a test case with wrong HTTP method. Uh, so the payload, this is a post method, and for this test case, we have generated a payload with a put method, and so on. So this is how you can generate a test suite by entering API details manually on Kusho. Next up, we are going to see how to generate a test suite by importing a Postman collection. So let's go back to the test suites page. Click on create new test suites. And as you can see, the second option is for importing a Postman collection. Uh, what you need to do here is Postman has an option to export a collection as a JSON. You need to paste its contents here in the editor. Let's see how to do that. Uh, we'll use this sample collection as an example. Click here on more actions, click on export, and you can export the collection as a JSON in v2.1 format. Let's copy the contents and paste them here in the editor and click on generate. Uh, so the way this works is we generate test feeds for each API which is present in the collection asynchronously. So it will happen in a background job, and once it is completed, we send out an email with status about each API and whether we were able to generate a collection, generate a test feed for it or not. And you can also go to the import status tab to check the status of your API. So I had already imported this particular collection. You can see here uh, that 3 out of 12 were completed, one is in progress, and there are 8 more pending. So you can uh, go to the import status tab to check what's the status of your collection import. And once the test suites are generated, you will be able to view them under the test suites page here. Now let's take a look at how to add more test cases to a test suite. So let's go to the test suite that we had generated earlier. Uh, Now, there is a possibility that there might be a particular test case that you have in mind, which Kusho is not able to generate. Uh, what you can do is we have provided a text box here where you can essentially prompt Kusho in plain English and tell us about the test case that you want to generate. Uh, so let's take an example. This particular API has a field called, let's say, symbol. Uh, so let's generate a test case with, say, Chinese characters for symbol field. Um, Click on generate. So what Kusho does is it takes your prompt and it will create a test case based on the description that you have given. So as you can see here in the payload, we have created a test case where the symbol has Chinese characters. So this is how you can generate more test cases and add them to your test suite. Now let's take a look at how to run the test cases that you have generated. Let's pick this particular test suite uh, to run the test cases. Now, there are two options for running test cases. Either you can run the entire test suite using this run all button, or you can run a single test case at a time using this run button. To run a test case, you need to install Kusho's helper extension because we route all the API calls through the extension in order to bypass the cost restrictions which are imposed by the browser. So when you try to run a test case first time, you'll be prompted to install the extension. Let's install it. All right, the extension has been installed. Let's go back to the test suite. Let's try to run an authentication test case like this one, where we are trying to test with the missing authentication field. So when I click on run, you can see this is where the response will be displayed, the status code and the API response that you got. And along with that, we also analyze the result and tell you whether the test case passed or failed. So in this particular case, we got a 401 response, and it's a test case where the authentication field is missing. So this test case has passed, which is shown here, and also short explanation about why this test case has passed or failed. Another way to run is using the run all button, where all the test cases will be executed in the test suite. So here you can see all the authentication test cases have been executed, and they have passed. So these are the two different ways you can run test cases in Kusho.